You know, when I was a kid, I always spent a lot of time in places like this, in the dugout or the bench, as it were, always waiting for my big chance, always waiting for someone to believe in me just enough to let me play. But, you know, being as short as I was and not that good at sports, no one ever gave me the chance. I was always the last to be picked for the team. I was always waiting and waiting and waiting for my chance. And it never came. And I fast forward in my life about 15 years to the age of about 24. That was the age that I purchased my first house here in California, which is pretty expensive, right? And I remember thinking, oh wow, now maybe people will look at me and say, hey, he's got something to offer. Maybe they'd give me a chance. Maybe I'd start to get out of the dugout. Maybe they'd let me play. And I remember making lots and lots of money. In 2006 was the first year that I cracked $1 million in 1 year. Actually, that year we made $1,060,000, all from little websites with little downloads and smileys and things like that. And as time went on, in 2009, we decided that we needed a bigger house, right? We got to have a bigger house, and we got to do better and do things bigger. And we got one, right? I was 29 years old. Here I was owning a giant house and another house that we rented out and things like that. And I thought, you know, maybe now people will pay attention. And all the while, I was struggling with a drinking problem. And it was kind of small in the beginning. You really wouldn't notice how bad it was. But I was trying to hide something. I was trying to hide the feeling of caged up potential. You see, because in life, I wanted to be something that I wasn't being. I wasn't living up to what I really wanted to do. And this was a problem for me, because I didn't really feel good about who I was or where I was going. I didn't feel like I had arrived. I felt like I was still in that dugout. Oh, sure, I've made a bunch of money and helped people out and everything like that, but I was a slave of my own thoughts. And my alcoholism crept up and crept up. In 2012, it started to get really bad, where I was drinking a lot all the time in that office you guys saw I got in 2013 with employees. It was really bad. And I started to drop the ball on the things that I knew I wanted to do. And I started to look at things differently and wonder, what am I here for? What's the reason? Is it just to make a bunch of money, or is there more? And all the while, this thought kept creeping up in my mind about, is there more? Is there something more out there for me? Is there something I'm supposed to do? And this really ate at me and started to fuel my alcoholism. I mean, sure, I had made a bunch of money, over $5 million online. But here I was, 34 years old, in trouble, in need of help, which was one of the most difficult things that I ever had to admit. I mean, here I was, this so-called pillar of internet marketing success. I had arrived, or so people thought. And I was the guru that people went to. And I started to take all this stress upon myself. And all the while, things were piling up, and I was neglecting things. I wasn't being the dad that I wanted to be. I wasn't doing the business that I wanted to do. I wasn't living the way that I wanted to be, and I was trapped inside, caged up potential of what I knew I could do. Because deep down, I believed so much in the power of the internet for good. And here I was trying to squeak by a measly existence. And I got to the point where I had to make a certain amount of money to control things. And it got extremely stressful and extremely overwhelming, to where I was drinking around the clock and living this life of pain, living this life in the dugout of life, waiting for someone to come up and say, here's your chance. Waiting for someone to say, here's some help. And things piled up, and finally we decided to move to Florida again. It's the third time we tried. For some reason, it just wasn't going to work for us. And so we tried, and we sold our house in about a couple of days, right, using my brother's method, which was a little quicker than I had hoped, but it worked. And all the while, the stress was growing inside me. And everything just started to pile up. And it got crazy. And I found myself lost. I was lost in this sea of insanity of my own mind, trapped in the dugout. Only I could dig myself out, or so I thought. And I slowly went insane. And I started to contemplate taking my own life. And that's when I ended up in a hospital and mental institute. And it was there that I realized that I didn't care. Because if I didn't care so much as to want to take my own life, then what mattered? And everything became about getting better. And everything started to come clear for me. Why I was here in the first place. And I realized that I have this thought, this idea, this understanding of how the internet works. And I've always had this ability to help people, to help them understand things. My joke was always, I could help everyone in life except myself. And I realized that now it was time to help myself. That no one was going to come and get me out of that dugout but me, because I had created it. And after we sold our house and we were supposed to move to Florida, we actually bought a house in Florida. We had to cancel out on that deal and lost a bunch of money. And we took the money that we got from the house we sold here and put it into rehab and put it into me being able to live for 3 months without having to worry about finances and just worrying about how could I get my sanity back and how could I return home to those values that I held so dear, which was about helping people. You see, because I allowed myself to get trapped in thinking that it was my job to convince you, that it was my job to change your mind. And through this, through my downfall of alcoholism, got a couple confessions to make. Number one, I really dropped the ball on my students. Now, this wasn't on purpose. It was part of my insanity and part of not being able to be the person that I wanted to be. And it was this struggle of constant thought processes going around and around and around in this trap, never being able to get out. And I dropped the ball. I didn't do things I said I should do. I didn't pay bills I needed to pay. And everything was absolute chaos. And now here I am, sober about 5 months and trying to piece together everything that I had broken in my life, my business, my family. Trying to get out of the dugout and give myself the chance. And one of the other confessions that I wanted to make is that all the money that I had earned, all of that $5 million that I had earned online, of course it wasn't all profit, but it's all pretty much gone now. And it was gone because of my indecision and my insanity. And the funny thing about it is that I really don't miss it. I mean, sure, it'd be nice to have and to not worry about things again, but I find myself in the interesting position where I have this knowledge and I know I can make a living online. I know I can get all that money back if I want to, and then some. And I want to take care of my students, and I want to do something good online to help people that are struggling. And I want you to think for a minute of the last time that you worried about money. Like really worried about money and stressed out over it. Maybe you're feeling that way right now. And I want you to really dwell on that for a minute, and I want you to think to yourself, how many people out there feel the exact same way I do? How many people are struggling? How many people need help? How many people are trying to get out of the dugout of life but are waiting for someone to come along and give them a chance? Well, one of the things I realized is that if I want a chance in life, there's only one person who gives it to me, and that person is God. And He gave us all a chance by saying, you know what? You're born. And it is your chance to take the things that you learn in life, take the struggles that you go through and learn from them and use them in a really, really neat way. Now, I know this video is supposed to be about making money and everything like that, which it kind of is if you pay attention, but I really want to give you the encouragement, and I want you to take a chance with me. You see, I find myself in the unfortunate yet fortunate place of needing to start from square one, needing to start from ground zero. And I want to take you with me. You see, what I'm going to be doing over the rest of this year and next year is building everything back in a really cool way and giving back to the community that has given me so much. You see, because I believe we all have a purpose. You know something, I know something, we all have something that we can share. And it's our job, being put through these tests and put through these things, to reach out to those who are in the dugout of life and can't help themselves and say, you know what, let me show you how I did it. Let me show you what I did. Let me help you. So as I spend this time digging myself out of this self-made hole, I'm going to take you with me, and I'm going to help you in every way I can. I'm going to show you exactly what I do step by step in a very, very easy way. I'm going to show you how I build sites in the addiction and recovery niche. I'm going to show you how I build sites in the real estate niche and in the car niche and financial niches. And I'm going to show you exactly how to build yourself up from where you're at right now. Maybe you're like me, and maybe you feel like I do, like you're in the dugout of life, and you're trying to dig yourself out, whether it's financially, emotionally, whatever it is. And maybe you want to come with me. And you say, Marcus, I saw you do it once, and everything was against you. All the odds were against you, but you made it. And I'd like to know how you did it. So friends, I hope that you enjoyed this video. And I hope you come with me out of this dugout, this place where you're on the outside looking in, and people are having a good time, and people are enjoying life, and you want what they have, but you just don't know how to get it. And my life's goal, and what I believe is my life's purpose, is to help you understand that it's not all about money. I've had lots of money. It's not all about status or who you are. It's about starting where you're at right now and realizing that today is a gift. And you are given 24 hours to do whatever you can. And of course, money's important, and I'm going to show you how to take care of that too. I'm going to show you how to get where you want to be by helping others. Because there was something said by Zig Ziglar, and he said, you can have anything in life that you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And friends, I'm here to help you. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to take on all your stress and make you rich overnight. That's your job, right? But I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do and how to do it. And I'm going to share some tips with you that I've learned that are dear to me about life and business and family and money and everything like that. And what I'd like to ask you right now is to decide whether you are going to be coming with me or not. You see, what I've done is I've put a little box on this page with a name and email. What I want you to do is I want you to put your name where it says name and put your email where it says email. And what that's going to do is it's going to put you on a private list where you are going to get the latest videos from me. So if you like this kind of stuff where I talk about life and business and money and all these different topics, then I want you to put your name and email in, because I'm going to send you a bunch of them. And I'm going to take you with me as I rebuild my money empire, my family, my life, and everything. Because I did it once against all the odds, and I'm about to do it again. So put your name and email in the box and come with me, and let's make a difference.